Welcome back. Today we'll be discussing the characters of Naruto from Naruto and Luffy from One Piece. But before I dive in, I have a question for you. Since you're here, you have probably seen or read both Naruto and One Piece. Monkey D. Luffy or Uzumaki Naruto, who would you say you relate to the most as a character? At the end of the video, let me know if your answer changes in the comments. This video is not claimed to be absolute facts, just my thoughts. Let's go. Now, there will be minor spoilers for those who aren't caught up, just a warning. Naruto is an extroverted people pleaser with extrinsic values. His goal is external, he's loud, he's a man of his word. Extroverts focus most of their attention on what goes on around them and generally think about things from an external point of view. Their goals and dreams are a resultant of that gathered information. Ideals, belief system, mindset, and way of thinking are heavily influenced by the surroundings. Naruto grew up orphaned, alone, and rejected by society. Because of these circumstances, Naruto believes the only way he can be social is by pulling attention to himself. With no home training, he goes for the quickest method to get it: mischief. Constant disrespect, belittling, and rejection over the years builds his ideal of wanting to become the Hokage, a person who he saw to be respected and loved by everyone in the Leaf Village. The term people pleaser tends to have a negative connotation, so we're gonna pause here. Okay? To clarify that when I mention said phrase in this video, I do not mean it in a negative way. Moving on. As a people pleaser, Naruto is dependent on approval and acknowledgments to feel purposeful and happy about his efforts. He clearly states this 1,000 times to his rival and best friend Sasuke and other important figures he comes across. I believe Naruto grew up into having people-pleasing tendencies because in his developmental years, roughly age 1 through 5, he was constantly made to feel that he is not good enough the way he is. He was made to feel that it was bad for him to desire the good life that other kids had. Thankfully for the Naruto verse, he chose to go in the positive direction with those motivations, seeing that Naruto turned out to be, spoiler alert, the most powerful shinobi in existence. These paradigms used positively created extrinsic values for Naruto: his desire for protecting his people, protecting good, and leading lost people on the right path, as he is famously known for pep-talking almost every villain he fought and making them turn a new leaf. That ability alone, in my opinion, qualified him to be a contender for his goal of becoming the Hokage of the Leaf Village. His ninja achievements and power accompanied that in making it a reality. Naruto is loud, talkative, verbally expressive, and even during his low IQ days, surprisingly articulate. He's a model example of when it's time to lock in, you do what you gotta do. It is common among people with this feat to be liars and promise breakers, but not Naruto. Naruto stands on every single thing he says. Naruto Uzumaki, a man of his word, his ninja way. Ever wondered if there's a pirate way? Well, Luffy couldn't care less about that because he became a pirate to become free of all ways. And that is the character we're going to be discussing next. After you go drink some water because I need some too. Alright, Luffy is introverted and he's an altruist who is also a self-pleaser with intrinsic values. His goal is internal, he is quiet, and a man of action. Introverts focus most of their attention within and generally think about things from their point of view. Their goals and dreams are a resultant of that gathered information. Ideals, belief system, mindset, and way of thinking are heavily influenced by their ideals. Luffy grew up alone with his grandfather, Admiral Garp, in Fuchsia Village. Garp wished for him to become a great marine like him in the future. He trained Luffy in dangerous ways like leaving him out in the woods, tying him to balloons, etc. But he always reassured him that he did it to make him a man, not because he hated him. Later on, the red hair pirates stationed in Fuchsia Village, resulting in Luffy meeting Shanks and the rest of the crew. Being exposed to the pirates for a while, Luffy decided he wants to join them, although Shanks never let him since he was so young. Fast forward and the red hair pirates leave the village. Luffy bonded with them and decided that he would wait till he was older to start his own pirate crew and become greater than the red hair pirates with whom he bonded. So far, Luffy is only 6 years old. A lot of his drive is seen to come from how he perceives things, not what is done to him. He saw that the red hair pirates were free and wanted to become that. He was never locked inside by Garp either and was trained by being left in places. So basically, without instructions, Luffy was always allowed to do what he wanted within his means, and these circumstances made him grow up with a self-pleasing mindset. The term self-pleaser might have a self-centered connotation, so we're gonna pause here to clarify that when I mention said phrase in this video, I do not mean it in a negative way. Moving on. As a self-pleaser, Luffy is dependent on the feeling of freedom to feel fulfilled about his efforts. He clearly states his reason for his actions to be centered around either freeing someone or having fun. We can see clear examples of that at numerous islands that the Straw Hats have saved, including Dressrosa and Wano. At Wano, Luffy literally battles the strongest beast in the world, Kaido, because a Wano inhabitant gave him food while she stayed hungry, wanting to free her and the rest of Wano of hunger and oppression. Introverts tend to be reserved and quiet in nature. Their yelling and screaming don't count though. Everyone needs to let those out at some point. But when it comes to talking, sharing points, opinions, Luffy would only do that with a select few, and rarely. And most of the time, he just listens when people talk. If he doesn't want to listen, he quietly walks away or falls asleep. His mental space and mental freedom are very important to him. All he needs to do is be in the moment and focus on what must be done. These paradigms created intrinsic values for Luffy, protecting his friends who he feels are special to him, and saving those who are not free, knowing he could never ever stand being in their shoes. Luffy is quiet, not very articulate, and very expressive with his actions. He is a model example of actions speak louder than words. Like when at a tender age, Luffy was once captured by an enemy of his brothers Sabo and Ace and didn't say a single word about their treasure or where it was. And this was before Sabo and Ace even accepted him. Mind you, he was being tortured by getting punched with spiked gloves. The whole interrogation. He didn't say one word. Took it all and cried. Or when he sent a coded message to his crew who were separated across the world with a tattoo on his arm, and he immediately knew they would get it. That's how good Luffy is at picking the people he wants in his circle. He trusts himself and his inner circle, and that self-trust alone is sure to help him achieve his internal goal of finding the One Piece and becoming the Pirate King. Okay, so we've run through these characters and we're now at a conjecture that Naruto and Luffy are both about that action. Naruto will give his word and follow through. Luffy gets an idea of what needs to be done and does it without saying much or nothing. Both of them are altruists and friend-oriented. If you made it to the end of the video, comment on the character you think you lean towards the most in terms of personality and character. See you on the next one.